It has been debated for a long time. Should you pay off your debts first or should you invest now? To be able to answer this question for yourself, you really need to take into account a lot of things. So each one of us may have a different answer for this one. I will share to you my thoughts about this. So with that, let's get started. Now before we go on to this video, I would really appreciate it if you kindly hit that like button first. And by the way, I am not your financial advisor, so whatever I say in this video should not be used as basis for your financial decision. First of all, let's talk about the theoretical side. What is debt? Well, I know almost everyone knows the term, but just maybe some don't understand debt too much. Debt represents money you've already spent and that the lender is charging you interest on. Left unpaid, that debt will grow and grow, with interest charges adding to your balance and incurring interest charges of their own. It's exactly the opposite of what I'm teaching in this channel, which is to make compounding interest work for you. Debt can be a dream killer. A lot of people pay off their debts even up to their retirement. Compounding interest is powerful, especially when it is against you. On the other hand, investing is where you put your money to work for you. It is through a vehicle, like stocks, mutual funds, ETF, or bonds. So this is compounding interest working for you, which is the better side of compounding. Now with that understanding, let's tackle on the question, should you invest now or should you pay off your debts first? Let's first look at the disadvantage of paying your debts first. Now since in history, we all know that the stock market index has returned an average of 8%, while debt interest on the other hand, let's say it's about 5 to 6%. So with that said, while putting all your money paying off your debts, you miss out on the compounding effect of that 8%. Like they say in investing, it's better to start early. This is one of the biggest disadvantages of putting all your money paying off your debts. You miss out on that early compounding effect. But what about the advantage of paying off your debts first? Well, as said a while ago, index funds since inception has had 8% returns annually. But the thing is, these are not sure returns. In some years, your money would even be negative. Some even fall over 30% plus, especially during market crashes. Unlike for your debt, that is a sure interest on your part. That is already fixed every year. That means it's just like returning an average 5 to 6% a year without fail. So with these two thoughts alone, to answer this question, it really comes down on how skilled and disciplined you are. Since most debts have that much interest, if you can invest your money and earn more than that, then that's a check for investing first on your part. Because the money you invested has a much larger interest than your debts. But are you really sure you can beat that? That's a thing most people fail to think of. They just think of the positive side of investing. Oh, it's 8% annual returns. This means it's a no-brainer. I should just invest my extra cash while paying off my debts instead of putting all my money to pay it off. Well, yes, indexes grow at that rate. But you have to put in mind your status. Are you disciplined enough that even when the market drops 50%, you're not going to panic and sell all your shares? Again, let me repeat, it's not a sure 8 to 10% per year. Those are average returns. That means there are years that you are negative, and sometimes not just a mere negative 1 to 5%. Sometimes it goes beyond 20 or 30%. Just looking at the chart of the index, if you somehow luckily started investing in 2007, then in 2008, you would have experienced a massive almost 50% drop in your money. So this is the only downside in investing with debt in mind. The stock market isn't always an uptrend. So the question is, can you take in those large negative returns while thinking about your debt? So with that, you also have to take in mind your work. Is your work really stable? Do you have an emergency fund in case you have trouble with your work? Are you sure you won't be withdrawing your investments for the next 10 years in case you don't have enough money to pay off your debt? Because if that happens, what if during that time your investments are in the negative, like this one in 2008? So you will be forced to withdraw your investments at a loss to pay off your debts, meaning you lost even more money. This is the worst case scenario of all. Imagine withdrawing your money with a loss to pay off another loss, which was the interest of your debt. And worse, what if you invested in individual stocks and lose all your money because you invested using only pure speculation? So again, the big advantage of paying off your debts first. Since your interest in debts is a sure 5 to 6% per year, once you paid it all, you have that sense of freedom. You have no deadline every month, so you can focus more on investing. But again, the downside is you lose the power of compounding working for you at an early stage. Some of us pay debt up to their 40s and 50s, so you're only starting out in building up your wealth to reach financial freedom at that late stage. So it's really getting harder to have an answer to invest first or pay debt first, right? Well, let's say you chose investing first, but have you studied about investing? Of course, this is important. I've told you the risks related to investing a while ago. Why would you invest money without even studying how it works first? Remember, you are investing with debt on hand. It's like being leveraged, so might as well study first. Study the basics first. Even if you're going to be investing in an index fund, you should study it first. What are the fees involved in that fund? Study as well yourself. Are you prepared for the risk involved in investing? And what's your strategy? I tell you, a lot of investors even fail at investing even though they are investing in a broad index fund because you know what they lack: the proper knowledge, understanding, and discipline. A lot underestimate the basics of investing and how the stock market works. They just rush in because their friend told them to invest in the stock market or they were persuaded by some financial advisor. Then, as a few years goes by, seeing their money having low returns or even in the negative, far off from what they were told the fund would perform, they get impatient and withdraw their money. But as soon as the stock market goes on a rally, they put their money in again at the peak of the market, missing those few months of large gains, investing at the worst possible time during the highest time of the market. And this is all because they got impatient. Investing takes time. You don't value your returns in just mere months or a few years. No, your horizon should be more than 10 years or more. I keep on repeating in my videos the statement that Warren Buffett said: if you aren't willing to own a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. This is true as well for investing in an index fund because sometimes that's how long it takes. If you don't have the patience to wait for it, then the stock market isn't for you. You know, even a child investing in an index can beat professional traders as long as he knows how to hold it for a long time. I showed this in one of my videos, the different types of investors and how they perform throughout the span of 50 plus years in an index fund. Even the most bad luck of all investors got an average returns better than those who put their money in time deposits or bonds, all because she had the discipline to go for the long run. If you want to watch the video, there's a link below. Might help you out more in choosing your answer for this question. So these are the things to keep in mind. If you think you have the discipline in investing your money and you think you won't be using your invested money to pay off your debts and you have studied and made up a goal and plan for yourself, then you could think of investing while paying off your debt. If one question a while ago you aren't sure that you can answer it, then for me, you might as well pay off your debts first. With that, you're staying on the safe side because you can really lose a lot of money in investing if you don't know what you're doing. Meanwhile, your debts is sure to interest you a fixed amount every year, so might as well take on the safe side of paying it off first if you aren't sure you're going to do good in investing. With that, I hope this video helped you guys out. Now, there isn't actually a sure one answer for this one because it all comes down to you, yourself, your situation, the risks you can tolerate, and your goal. Because if you just straight on choose investing and you failed, you might get into a tight position in the future because you weren't prepared for the risk that you stepped into. Anyway, if you have any comments or thoughts about this topic, then do comment down below. Share to us your thoughts about this matter. With that, if you liked the video and still haven't clicked that like button, then now is the time to do so. With that, thank you and see you in the next video.